Chris here, aka Kermie, and welcome to Reading with Kermie. And today I decided to take you with me on a little hike. So bear with me, because I almost lost the page of the little book. But anyway, that's the wear and tear of using it for so long. So I hope everybody's okay today. Good afternoon. Like I said, I decided to take you guys on a hike. I was sitting inside thinking about wanting to do Reading with Kermie shortly after I did a Kermie karaoke, but I didn't want to sit inside, so I decided to take me and the camera and my Reading with Kermie book outside with me. So here we are, one of my favorite little mini hikes of Everett, Norbeck Woods, the wetlands in South Everett, and also one of my favorite places to take clients for photo shoots. FYI. So let's get started with Reading with Kermie. And don't stress the small stuff, it's just small stuff, and this is book 2. Don't stress the small stuff with the family. So, we are in chapter 85, I think. Yeah, 85. Hello. 85. And don't read between the lines. So, anyway, let's get started. There was some folks walking by on this awesome trail. Don't read between the lines. Let's see what happens. This is probably going to be a good chapter, because just reading it, my thought came to me is, oh, I do that quite a bit. So let's get continued, shall we? This is a common problem, especially at home. When we know someone really well, there's an almost insidious tendency to think that we know what the person is thinking and or how he or she is going to behave. This strategy is another way of saying don't be a mind reader or a person who imputes motives for other people's behaviors and actions. I still find myself falling into this trap. Me too, I'm guilty. Although for less often I used to say, just yesterday, for example, one of my daughters appeared to be procrastinating as usual instead of getting ready for school because I expected this to be the case. I noticed that her shoes weren't on and assumed she had no idea where they were. After all, this has been the case on many prior occasions. Of course, I knew without question what was going on. Impatiently and with a sense of annoyance, I barked out, "Please go find your shoes." Her response was a confidence, "Daddy, my shoes are by the front door." Hello, how you doing?
Good.
My shoes are by the front door. You asked me not to wear them in the house. She was right on both counts. As is often the case for many of us, I had spent unnecessary moments of many mornings being annoyed and bothered. Word. My annoyance and inner sense stemmed from anything my daughter was or was not doing, but for my own thinking. This was clearly a case of it's all in my head. In many cases, it definitely is. You can probably see that this tendency greatly contributes to sweating the small stuff at home. When you read between the lines, it's almost as though you're actively looking for things that bother and annoy you. And when you're looking for something, especially when you assume you're going to find it, you rarely disappoint yourself. In most cases, you end up validating your assumption so that you can be right. Obviously, an occasional assumption isn't going to ruin a relationship. It is no big deal. However, this tendency is really occasional. Instead, it becomes a way of life, a habit, something we do a great deal of the time, often without even knowing we are doing so. Our mind works so quickly in its assumptions. Our mind works so quickly in our assumptions. What it thinks it knows that it prejudges without any awareness on our part. The solution is simple, but not easy. You must have the humility to admit that you don't know what someone is going to do or what he or she is thinking. You only think you do. It's important to take each day, each individual circumstance as it comes. Don't assume that simply because someone has always been a certain way, there is no room for change. When you do, you display a subtle form of disrespect. After all, you probably don't appreciate it when someone you love reads your mind and predicts your behavior either. Wow, this hit home a little bit. When you make a shift from predicting behavior to responding to it, you'll find yourself being annoyed far less often. Your mind will be more relaxed and present moment oriented, responsive to what is actually occurring instead of reacting to what you believe is going to be the case. In addition to the personal benefit you receive, less made-up stress. Your loved ones will undoubtedly appreciate your shift as well. In many cases, the slight shift can make a whole world of difference in the feeling of mutual respect in a family. Ooh, yeah, that hit home a little bit, that reading. It's a good, that's good reading. The reason why I said it hit home a little bit is because as I was reading that chapter, I was reflecting back to many occasions where I've done that in my whole entire life. You know, interrupting people because you think you know what they're saying and finishing their sentences because you think you know what they're thinking. You know, just last month I was on vacation. Well, December now, not last month. I guess time's flying by. But December, I was on vacation to a really dear friend of mine's house I've known for years, and she called me out on some stuff that relates very well to this topic. That exactly what I said. I assume what people are thinking. I jump into the conversation like I know what it's all about, what's in this other person's head or whatever the situation is. That I do that often, and I look back when she said this out of her daring, caring heart. She had this conversation with me, which was very awesome. And at first, it shook me up a little bit because she was calling me out on some actual true shit. I do. She's known me for years, so she can do this. But anyway, as she was telling me this, I was thinking to myself, "Whoa, this is really hitting my spirit. This is sometimes what I really do in life." And it was a game changer right there, and I was like, "Holy cow, thank you so much." Yeah, we made me tear up a little bit, but I appreciate you talking to me like this. Do that often. We want to rush the conversations because we think it might be the same, or we think it might be the same exact thing. I go through this all the time. My sister, I try to finish what she's saying because it does seem like the same thing sometimes. She's my roommate, so she's close at home. So, this is a good chapter that I read, and I'm glad I read it, and I'm glad I get to share these chapters with you guys, and hopefully you guys get something out of it if you listen to my videos. And I appreciate the fact, I'm grateful that I can bring reading with Kermie with you guys outside on my hike. How cool is that? But anyway, I'm going to continue my hike. I got my camera with me to take some photos of nature and stuff. So, on that note, you guys have a great day. Enjoy some sunshine while it's here. I think spring is here. Spring is in the air. Every time I look around. Alright, you guys have a good one. Peace.